Today's the moving day. We'll be in Brooklyn in another hour. I'm using the dispensary to move all the boxes that we had at the hotel. And I think we average about 3 boxes each. I think I'm up to like 4.5 boxes. LJ's 2.5, 3.5 boxes. Maddie and Cody about 2.5 boxes worth of stuff. Because in the trailer I have 6 and 6, so that's 12. On the floor there's 13, 14. And then in the car, in LJ's car, there's 15, 16, 17 boxes between us, and that's from the last few months. Last 4 months. We've been for the last 4 months. I just wanted to take a moment and go live, and I was thinking about this reality that we're in, and I was also thinking about that script that I coined, the Billy the Kid script. The Billy the Kid script is very, very interesting because it's like I talk about you and I being possible entities, like our soul, like our essence, like our true self, what truly we are, not the person that's going through life trying to figure themselves out. No, that's just that brain and this meat suit that we're walking around in, for lack of a better word or description. I don't think meat suit is that bad, but just imagine if you were this soul that in order to get here, you have to go through the birth canal of a woman. And I wish you could have just saw how somebody just straight up cut me off. The soul of a woman, I'm not the soul of a woman, the womb of a woman, that birth canal is part of the process, and I was thinking about how, if we chosen to be here, very bumpy road over here. And we chose the Billy the Kid script, we wanted to make sure that the odds were really good that we were going to live a very tumultuous life, a very short life. Okay. That fourth gear. We take our lives for granted. We don't recognize that it's possibly has nothing to do with us, the human being that we are. The life experiences that we have are just some sort of like, I wouldn't say, I was just gonna say like rolling the dice kind of a thing, but you're not really rolling the dice. You want to live a life where you're not going to make it past 25, and you choose that. There's a good chance, you're going to wake up in Guadalajara somewhere as a newborn baby, or in Chirac as a newborn baby, or in the Bronx. No longer Brooklyn, because it's very gentrified. And I'm on me speaking low because Maddie's sleeping back there. She's taking a nice little nap. She was such a great helper today. Her brother as well. You know, they're getting used to this whole nomad situation where, you know, every few months, not couple, every few months, you know, we're going to pack up and go. And I like to keep it between 3 boxes. You know, I have 1 box full of shirts, 1 box full of pants, and the other box is full of sweaters, like summer sweaters, you know, for the evening. You don't want to get bit up with a bunch of mosquitoes everywhere. So, you know, I have some nice knits. Put about 2 or 3 to the side. And then there's the shoes. You know, I wear the same, for the most part, same 3-4 pair of shoes. You know, I'll just keep it on rotation. That sound you heard is some cement blocks that I have in the back that I'm going to use for the new garden. They're not cement blocks. They're just, well, they are cement blocks, but they're not cinder blocks. They're like decorative ones. So if you hear that clanking, that's what that is. You know, this Billy the Kid script is on my mind, kind of heavy. And, you know, some of the points that I would like to bring out is that, you know, if we chose to live this life where we're going to go through the birth canal of a woman, and if we chose this life in which we're going to have to learn how to walk, we're going to have to learn how to talk, we're going to have to learn how to, you know, the nuances of humanity, unbeknownst to ourselves. We're not aware of ourselves. That third eye possibly is taking out very early on in life, you know. I would love to interview non-vaccinated people from birth, like never been vaxxed as the child, you know, like their parents avoided that kind of a thing. I would like to get their perspective on life, and were they able to, was their third eye, their falsified by the shots that I was given coming out of the hospital as a child in the 1970s? Or is the third eye not even real? Is it possible that the third eye is just some sort of, you know, fairy tale? Some sort of story that's told to the newly woken, the newly awakened. Is that even real? Because I always wondered, was our third eye, or the ability to be aware of yourself, when did that stop? When did the process of thinking like that, or is it, in other words, is that something that's taught? Could I now be teaching my children to recognize that they're possibly some sort of life force entity that represents their soul that chose to be here, and that whatever choices they made in order to be here, you don't have to live up to those choices. You can actually rewrite your script, and that's some sort of way of making it to the next checkpoint in your existence. You know, I talk about how, what was I saying? Let you see what I see. tell if you can even see anything. There's so much of a glare out there. I mean, it's a bit of a blinding glare. But, so, you know, this Billy the Kid script is something like, you know, these life forces, these souls, they're lined up like on a great adventure ride. And going through the canal is like the ending of that ride. You know, they get to come, they get to live life, and unbeknownst to the person or the meat suit that they're wearing, like, let me just say this. What if when you arrive here as this life force, this soul, when the soul enters the body, right? At what point does the soul enter the body? I always argue is, you know, in the womb, while it's growing. Or I would argue, and I've said it before, and it's very controversial, and I have to be very careful the way I say these things, but what if the birth canal is the way for the soul, that struggle, that fight to get out, is what triggers the soul, the existence of the soul, and then the hospital just stifles that. They just do whatever they can to make sure they stifle it. Of course, the doctors are not in on it. It's just a system. The lever pullers are in on it. So then you kind of just never get to know who you are. You never even think about it, in other words. Amongst many other things that could be happening to you simultaneously, I would argue. And what else? You know, this reality that we're in, and the possibility that we're these souls that are purposefully coming or choosing these individual lifestyles, you know. In other words, is the soul up there choosing to just live a regular, everyday, mundane life? Yes, I would argue. And is the soul choosing to live a very hectic, out of control, volatile life? I would argue yes. And that's where the Billy the Kid script comes in, where you have these outrageous, outlandish, unrealistic things that are happening. They're real, but it just doesn't make sense. Like, why would someone do that? Why would someone videotape themselves doing something like that? Why would a person act that way? And I would argue that it's just part of the script. The script is playing it out. But the great power in this, in realization of this script is recognizing that you can change your script, understanding that it's possible, that I don't have to be this person who stays stuck in a position that they're never going to get out of in a positive way, potentially lose their life between the age of 14 to 25, maybe even 14 to 27. You know, that 14 to 27 mark is very, 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 wow, we're like at a complete stop right here. Okay. I'm on the Brooklyn-Queens Expressway in New York City, coming from our last place. Something to think about. The Billy the Kid script. It needs a lot of work. I know that. I'm going to write some of this stuff down, try to get my thoughts a little bit more aligned, a little more concise. But you know, I don't have any proof of this. I'm just spitballing it. But I do know this. Whatever we were told, that was a lie. Whatever we heard, that was a lie. But this here, what we're doing, this right here, this exchange, it's pretty real. The Billy the Kid script. One where you're only here you're out of here between 14 and 27 years old. The Billy the Kid script, where your soul chooses that life so that it can come back and do it again. And it goes through all different kind of situations, from war times to, just, car crashes, motorcycles, fighting to the death on a New York City subway station, jumping from roof to roof and slipping in a park jaw event, and videotaping the whole thing as you're falling 35 stories because you made the wrong grab. You tucked and rolled too late, too soon. A little bit to the left, a little bit to the right. Those park jaw people, man, are insane. Someone would call them adrenaline junkies. I would call it the Billy the Kid script. So if you're playing with that park jaw and you're running on top of buildings, on top of trains, dodging traffic, there's a good chance you chose that life. And it's not you. And you can change that life. You don't have to jump from those planes. You don't have to glide at 125 miles per hour right next to the face of the rocks. No, you don't have to do that. But you might have chose to do that in more ways than you can ever imagine. Anyway, thank you. You are appreciated. Hey, babe. How you feel? Love you.